Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Jordan Figueredo, and I'm from CVSan, and this is my friend, Little Miss Reduce. She loves to reduce waste, especially food, as you can see with all these yummy fruits and veggies she's saving. Today, we are going to learn about zero waste, the 4 Rs, why they are so important for public and environmental health, and what you can do at school and at home. And did you know that in Castro Valley, we have been composting food scraps in the green cart since 2002? We were one of the first ones to start doing this practice, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about why it's so important later on. There are opportunities to reduce waste with what's still going in the garbage and what's now required of all businesses and organizations, including schools. A new law went into effect this year in California that is really going to help reduce the amount of organics going in the garbage. This law is called SB 1383. Laws like this are needed because we have a big problem with food waste. Did you know that in California, about 40% of all food is wasted? The goal of SB 1383 is to reduce wasted food and organics by 75% by the year 2030, and also to increase recycling. So, according to NASA, climate change describes a change in the average conditions such as temperature and rainfall in a region over a long period of time. NASA scientists have observed that the Earth's surface is warming, and many of the warmest years on record have happened recently. Climate change means sea levels will rise, we will have more bad storms, and more smoke days. But if we work together, we can make things better. Only humans are responsible for all the garbage and landfills we have on Earth. The more garbage we create, especially organics in the garbage, will increase climate change. Over 50% of carbon and methane pollution is created because of our garbage.
Before we get to the 4 Rs, who is CVSan? At Castro Valley Sanitary District, CVSan as we're known, we're responsible for two main things in Castro Valley. The first is wastewater collection, which is all the dirty water that goes down the drain from our sinks, showers, and toilets in Castro Valley. At CVSan, we make sure it's collected underground through a system of pipes. CVSan makes sure those pipes work well and the water is transferred to and cleaned at the treatment plant before going back out into the San Francisco Bay.
In Castro Valley, everyone has a role in maintaining the sewer system, and one way you can help out is by only flushing the 3 Ps: pee, poo, and toilet paper. Can you flush pee?
Yes.
Can you flush poop?
Yes.
Can you flush toilet paper?
Yes.
But what about wipes? Even those labeled flushable? Flush diapers? Flush food? Sponges? Cat litter? Bandages? Cotton balls? Hair? Underwear? Feminine products? Medication? Pee, poop, and toilet paper?
Yes, yes, yes.
Learn how you can help prevent sewer blockages at cvsan.org/wastewater.
The second thing CVSan is responsible for is zero waste. The zero waste department is where I work. What does zero waste mean? It means we work with schools, businesses, and residents, or the people that live in CVSan, on all the ways we can practice the 4 Rs and find our paths to zero waste. A part of the path to zero waste is collection of materials. We work with Alameda County Industries, ACI, to make sure materials are collected in the right place. One way we can all help with zero waste is by sorting what should go in the blue recycling, green organics, and gray garbage carts. Our goal is to put less stuff in the garbage. Our work involves teaching people why zero waste is important and why everyone needs to help put less in the garbage. Our garbage goes to the Altamont landfill in Livermore and just sits in the ground forever. No one takes out the good stuff that was thrown away in the garbage. Garbage usually includes many things in there that could be reused, recycled, or composted. It's really sad. For that reason, and for the impact climate change has on Earth, is why we practice the 4 Rs together. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot help us reach for the goal of zero waste, which helps us protect our health and environment.
So, as Little Miss Reduce knows, reduce means to use less of something, to reduce what might be left over. And reduce is the first R we want to think about because it's most important. And reduce means to make less waste, use less, or buy less. Basically, what reduce means is that if we don't use it, there's no way we can waste it. For example, you could use 1 paper towel instead of 2, and you could prevent waste by saving extra food for later instead of throwing it away. As Little Miss Reduced said, you can also donate food to those in need. There is one school in CVUSD that is now participating in food recovery, and that's Chabot Elementary. Here is Nicole and Chelsea, who bring extra food to the food pantry at First Presbyterian Church behind Trader Joe's so that it goes to people and doesn't get wasted. They do this every week. Do you remember that law I mentioned a little while ago, SB 1383? In addition to educating people on where things go for organics, recycling, and garbage, this law also requires schools to check on what's going into organics, recycling, and garbage, and educate staff and students so they can make sure the wrong materials don't get put into the carts and to get better at reducing waste. SB 1383 also requires extra food be donated to food assistance agencies and charities.
For reuse, this is our reuse superhero again. She teaches us that reuse, our second R, means to use something over and over again and again instead of throwing it away. Let's hear more from again.
I defend the earth against the wastefulness of single-use products. Things like plastic straws, bags, and water bottles are usually just used once and then thrown away. They can get lost in the environment and become dangerous for many animals. The ocean alone has tons of plastic that just never goes away. The plastic in the ocean forms huge pools of trash called gyres that are very unhealthy for sea life. Instead of using so many single-use products, reusing sustainable materials like this metal reusable water bottle instead of plastic ones can reduce waste.
Reuse helps significantly reduce climate change, and it's easy for us all to do. In addition to reusing things, as again shows us, reuse means you can fix things that are broken instead of throwing them away, and buy things like used electronics and clothing. This all prevents new materials and energy being used and climate pollution being created in the making of new products. So then there is recycle, and there are 4 different types of materials that our recycling superhero Blue likes to recycle. Let's hear more from Blue.
I get to transform used paper, plastic, and metal into recycled products. As long as the plastic I eat has a number 1 through 7 on it, I can recycle it into something new. Although, I can't eat foam. Foam gives me a tummy ache. By recycling, I make sure that our limited natural resources are protected. So instead of cutting down more trees, we can use recycled paper made from paper.
So we can recycle clean paper like junk mail, old tests and boxes, plastic like containers, cups, bottles, and bags if they're bagged up and clean, metal like cans and foil, and glass. In addition to fighting climate change and global warming, recycling protects our natural resources, nature's gifts that help us to live. For example, for every 2,000 pounds of material recycled, on average, we save 6,000 pounds of climate polluting emissions from being released into the atmosphere. The 4th of the R's is rot, and there are 3 types of materials that green likes to rot. That's food scraps like peels, bones, shells, and rotting leftovers, food soil paper like paper plates, napkins, and cups, and plants like leaves, twigs, and flowers. All those food scraps, food soil paper, and plants would be generating greenhouse gas emissions in the garbage and landfill, harming our climate and planet. That's why we put them in the green bin instead, so they can be made into compost. Compost is like nature's vitamins, helping plants grow larger and stronger, helping keep more water in the soil, and compost even filters out pollution and bad things that come along in the rainwater running off the street. And for every 2,000 pounds of food scraps composted, 12,000 pounds of carbon polluting emissions are reduced. Compost is like magic. You can get free bags of compost made from the stuff you put in your green bin at CVSan Recycles Day at Canyon Middle School on a Saturday in April and July.
Back to our food scrap 20th anniversary. Who participates in food scrap recycling at school? How about at home? Raise your hand if you do. Great. We're celebrating this, and you can celebrate with us by putting one of these cool stickers on your green carts at home, if you participate in food scrap recycling, of course. An adult at home can request 1 or 2 of these stickers through the form at the webpage shown on the screen. Who has a food scrap pail at home that you put food scraps and food soil paper into all the time? And if you don't do this at home, you can show your parents how. You don't even need a green pail. You can use a milk carton or ice cream carton, a bowl, or even a paper bag from the grocery store.
So after we practice reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot, what's left over for garbage? Not much. Mixed materials such as pouches and chip bags, plastic utensils, gloves and masks, other things like glue sticks and markers, straws and lids, wipes, and foam. Ugh, they all go to garbage. And do we like garbage? No. While it's wasting away in landfills, garbage is creating greenhouse gas emissions that are harming our climate and Earth. A total of 15% of human-caused climate-polluting methane comes from landfills because of all the rotting food, soiled paper, and plants that should have been composted. So the stuff we use and waste is creating those extra emissions, and it has a huge impact on climate change. We need to stop being the only living organism on Earth that wastes things. Instead, let's go with the path to zero waste. The path is different for everyone, but we're all trying to get to the same place. As Zero says, only together can we have a world with zero waste.
And in 2023 or 2024, the new CVSan building at Center Street and Castro Valley Boulevard will be opening. Here's what it will look like. We'll be holding the 4 hours field trips again in person once that building is ready. Thank you for listening, and thank you for practicing the 4 Rs, reducing waste, and helping the planet everywhere you can. Goodbye.